Finding herself, Natalie stood frozen in the dim light of the locker room, staring at the photo taped to her locker. Her heart raced as she recognized the familiar faces. A woman sat on a park bench, and standing beside her was Julia, Natalie's girlfriend of nearly 2 years. Julia's arm was draped around the other woman, the intimacy in their smiles undeniable. How could she do this? Natalie's thoughts spiraled. Why would Julia be spending time with her ex without telling her? Why had Julia kept this hidden? The locker room was empty now, the clank of weights and chatter of gymgoers a distant memory. Natalie's chest tightened as she tried to push down the flood of hurt and confusion. She pressed her palms hard into her thighs, breathing fast, trying to make sense of the picture. But nothing did. With shaky hands, Natalie ripped the photo off the locker and crumpled it in her fist. She shoved her belongings into her bag, slammed the locker shut, and hurried out of the gym. Tears threatened to spill, but she held them back. The drive home was a blur, her thoughts tangled between anger and betrayal. Natalie's apartment felt colder than usual as she unlocked the door and stepped inside. She threw her gym bag in the corner, her body feeling heavy with exhaustion and heartache. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, breaking her thoughts. It was Anna, her best friend. She had noticed Natalie leaving the gym so abruptly earlier. She had followed her location using an app they both shared, just to make sure Natalie had made it home. "Natalie, are you okay?" Anna's voice crackled over the phone. Concern laced every word. Natalie closed her eyes, the pain finally breaking through her defenses. "I'm not. I found a picture of Julia with her ex. It was taped to my locker. She didn't tell me, Anna. She didn't even mention that they were still talking." Silence lingered between them. Anna, who always knew how to offer comfort, didn't know what to say. "I'm coming over," she finally responded, her voice firm. "You shouldn't be alone right now." 15 minutes later, Anna burst through the door, her face a mixture of worry and love. She found Natalie sitting on the floor, the crumpled photo still clutched in her hand. "Nat." Anna knelt down in front of her, gently touching her shoulder. "Talk to me." Natalie handed her the photo, eyes brimming with tears she no longer had the strength to hold back. "Why didn't she tell me?" Her voice trembled. Why would she keep this a secret if nothing was going on? Anna studied the photo, recognizing Julia and her ex. Her heart ached for Natalie, who was always so strong, but now looked so broken. "I don't know," Anna said softly. "But you deserve the truth, Nat. I just don't understand." Natalie buried her face in. "I just don't understand," Natalie whispered, burying her face in her hands. Her breath hitched as the weight of everything settled in. She felt Anna's hand gently rub her back, providing the comfort she desperately needed. "You don't have to right now," Anna said softly, sitting beside her on the floor. "You're hurt and it's okay to feel that. You don't have to make sense of it tonight." Natalie sat in silence, her fingers gripping the fabric of her leggings, as if holding on to something tangible could stop the storm swirling in her heart. "I don't know if I can even talk to her, Anna. How am I supposed to face her after seeing that?" Anna leaned her head back against the wall, watching Natalie as she wrestled with her emotions. She knew that Natalie wasn't just hurt. She was confused, lost, and vulnerable. She had never seen Natalie this way, and it made her chest tighten with anger. Julia had put Natalie in this position, and she couldn't stand seeing her best friend so torn apart. "You don't have to do anything right now," Anna said softly. "But when you're ready, you'll need to talk to her, even if it's just to get answers. You deserve that." Natalie's breath caught in her throat, and for the first time since she'd found the photo, tears finally spilled down her cheeks. Anna wrapped her arms around her, pulling her close. Natalie sobbed quietly into Anna's shoulder, her body shaking from the intensity of it all. "I don't know what to do," Natalie choked out between sobs. It's like, I thought I knew her. I thought I knew where we were going. I thought. She stopped, her words failing as the grief overwhelmed her. I know, Nat. Anna held her tighter. I know. For a while they just sat there, Anna gently rocking her as Natalie let the tears flow. The living room, which had always felt like a place of refuge, now seemed to be filled with shadows of doubt and uncertainty. Everything in Natalie's life, which had once felt stable, was now unraveling. After a long stretch of silence, Natalie finally pulled away, wiping at her wet cheeks. What if she denies it? What if she lies? I don't think I can take that. Anna took a deep breath. You'll know, Nat. You've always been able to read people. But I don't think you're wrong about this. Julia owes you the truth. I hate feeling like this. Natalie leaned back against the wall. I've never felt so powerless. Like she's my whole world, Anna. I've spent 2 years building a life with her. And now, she let out a shaky breath. Now I don't even know if I'm in her world anymore. Anna frowned, her heart breaking for her friend. You're in my world, Nat. And I'm not going anywhere. A small, grateful smile flickered across Natalie's face. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'll never have to find out. Natalie nodded, her eyes still red and puffy, but there was a sense of determination starting to take root beneath the sadness. I think I'll call her tomorrow, she said quietly. I don't want to do it tonight. I'm too angry, but I need to know what's going on. I need to know why. Anna nodded. Whatever you need, I'm here. They sat together for a while longer, Anna occasionally making small jokes to lighten the mood, which earned soft, half-hearted chuckles from Natalie. It wasn't much, but it was something. The warmth of their friendship started to push back against the coldness that had settled into Natalie's heart. The next day, Natalie woke with a heavy sense of dread. She stared at her phone for nearly half an hour before working up the courage to text Julia. Can we talk? I need to see you. Her hands trembled as she hit send. She wasn't ready for what the conversation might bring, but she knew it had to happen. Her heart was pounding in her chest as the little dots appeared on her screen, signaling that Julia was typing. Yeah, come over tonight. 7 okay. Natalie let out a slow breath, trying to steady herself. She tossed her phone aside and buried her face in her hands again. This was it. She was going to have to face the truth one way or another. The day dragged on, her thoughts a jumble of fear and hope and everything in between. She avoided texting Anna, even though she knew her best friend would want an update. She needed to face this on her own first. By 6:30, she was driving toward Julia's apartment, her palms sweaty as they gripped the steering wheel. Every part of her wanted to turn around, but she kept going. This conversation had to happen no matter how hard it was. When she arrived, Julia opened the door, her face a mixture of guilt and nervousness. Natalie stepped inside, feeling the tension between them like a physical barrier. Hey, Julia said softly, her eyes darting toward the living room. Want to sit? Natalie shook her head, standing just inside the doorway. She didn't want to sit. She didn't want to get comfortable. Why didn't you tell me you were still talking to her? Natalie asked, her voice breaking the silence. Julia blinked, caught off guard by how direct the question was. She looked down at her hands, fidgeting nervously. It wasn't like that, Natalie. I wasn't hiding it from you on purpose. Then why didn't you tell me? Natalie's voice rose, the hurt leaking into her words. Why did I have to find out from a photo taped to my gym locker? I didn't want to upset you. Julia snapped, frustration edging her voice. Sharon and I. It's not like we're getting back together or anything. We were just catching up, that's all. That's all. Natalie let out a bitter laugh, pulling the crumpled photo from her pocket. Because this doesn't look like just catching up. Julia looked at the photo, her face paling. Nat, I didn't think. No, you didn't. Natalie interrupted, her voice trembling with the pain she'd been holding back. You didn't think about me, or how this would make me feel. You just thought about yourself. Tears brimmed in Julia's eyes as she tried to find the right words. I made a mistake, okay? I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. Natalie's voice was quiet now, the fight draining out of her. She wasn't here to argue. She was here for the truth. How long has this been going on? Julia hesitated, the guilt written all over her face. We've been talking for a few months, but it was never anything serious, I swear. Natalie swallowed hard, her heart shattering as the truth hit her. A few months? And you never thought to tell me? I didn't want to make things worse between us, Julia said desperately, reaching out for Natalie's hand. I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how. Natalie pulled her hand back, the gesture feeling like a final break between them. I think it's too late for that, Julia. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with all the things neither of them could say. Natalie turned toward the door, her body numb as she reached for the handle. I loved you, she whispered, her back still facing Julia. But I can't do this anymore. She walked out, the door closing softly behind her. And as she made her way back to her car, she felt the tears finally fall, tears for the love she'd lost, and for the strength she was beginning to find.